Hey guys, so welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Abigail and I make videos about special needs and health issues and feeding tubes. So, um, something really funny happened earlier today that I want to share with y'all, but first, I wanted to talk about a comment that I read, and most of the time, rude comments, I don't really address them if there's not a good reason to address them. I think it was just somebody that saw one of my old posts and was just being rude. But I kept on getting all these comments on a post that or on a video that was posted like 7 months ago. It was about my iron infusion and how basically there's this person in the waiting room that something that I thought was rather funny happened, and people were upset with me about talking about it when it was just something that I found funny when I did not film at the hospital. I did not share any like personal information about this person or anything like that. And I started getting all these comments on my old video, and somebody on there was being really rude about it, saying that it's a hospital, obviously things happen. And somebody went on there and commented back to that person that it was fine for me to share something funny, and that because I go through hard things because of my health and stuff, which was the whole point of me even sharing the iron infusion story thing. But something really funny happened with, or something that I thought was really funny, happened with one of the patients there. And somebody like really stood up for me in the comments, basically saying it's okay for me to share something funny as long as I wasn't sharing any personal information. So I want to say that even though I saw that comment late, I want to thank y'all for those that I just stand up for me and, are nice about situations. Because I thought it was really sweet the way that the person like came back and was basically telling them that they don't need to be that way. So thank you for standing up for me, whoever that was. The funny thing that happened today was that so I think I got this water. Yeah. So I'm on a feeding tube, a GJ tube. The J tube goes to my stomach. Or no. Let me go back. The G tube goes to my stomach. I use that for venting, aka getting sick out of. The J tube goes to my intestines, and it's where I get my feeds from because I have gastroparesis, so part of my stomach is paralyzed and it doesn't work right. And so I get basically most of my nutrition from the feeding. Sorry, it locked up for a second. I get most of my nutrition from the feeding tube. The only thing I can hold down by mouth is like a few kinds of candy and a few kinds of ice cream. That's about it. I can drink most things, but as far as eating, it's mostly like different kinds of candy and ice cream and things like that. So like my nutrition is basically based off of my feeding tube. And so having said that, there's this thing in the feeding tube world called flushing, which is basically where you get like a bottle of water and you put it in a syringe and you flush that water through your tube feeding tube to clean it. And we got to do this every, I think it's like 4 to 5 hours. And that's morning or night. So that's so that it doesn't get clogged. So I was getting a new bottle of water, which the bottle of water, it's supposed to be room temperature. So I got a new bottle of water, and I was going to put Flush on the bottle, because that way I know that the bottle of water in my backpack is for that. But this morning, as I was getting a new thing of water, I can't believe I did this, guys. This was hilarious. I got distracted as I was writing, and so instead of putting Flush, I put Flushed. This was funny. I know this looks like a W on the camera, but actually it says Flushed on there, and I found it really, really funny because I'm on the feeding tube 24 hours a day. I do bring water with me to, clean my tube on the go. Well, I just realized how funny this was, because if you're obviously in a gas station or somewhere out in public, sometimes people notice that I'm on a feeding tube as it sticks out from my clothes sometimes, depending on what I'm wearing, and so it's obvious, and that's fine. But some people look because they a lot of times don't understand why I'm on one. And I just thought how funny this was that it says Flushed on it instead of Flush, because it just really made me think of toilet water. So if you were extremely cheap. This is, by the way, this is regular bottled water. It's just room temperature, because the water that I put through my feeding tube is supposed to be room temperature. So this is room temperature water. But after I realized, I got distracted and put Flushed instead of Flush on it. It just totally made me think of toilet water. And I could have changed it, but I didn't, just because I thought it was so funny. I now got a little Gatorade bottle that my dad gave me that I put water in, so that I don't have to carry a bunch of stuff around with me, because I carry the backpack everywhere I go. And it's less heavy to carry a little Gatorade bottle full of water than it is this big thing of water. So this kind of bottled water, the big container, I just use this for whenever I'm flushing my tube in the nighttime or something like that. But I just thought it was absolutely hilarious, because I'm probably going to use this one for home. I just thought, I was just thinking about people's face, because it really made me think of toilet water, and I just thought how funny that was. My mom was making supper earlier. We had, I think it was steak fajitas or something like that, and I didn't eat because I can't eat food by mouth. But my little brother had sat down with his plate, and I had walked into the living room to tell him about this whole story and what I did, and he thought it was absolutely hilarious. So that's the funny story of the day. I'm still dealing with some pain from surgery, but that's going to take a while to heal from. If you did not see my last video, my tube, my J tube is sticking out, and it's just kind of swollen looking. It's very uncomfortable, but I go in June to get it changed to a button. So, yeah. Um, things have been crazy. On top of all of this, my mom, um, like, tore something in her foot, and she's supposed to be in a boot for a few weeks, so we're hoping that she's better by the time that I have to get my buttons placed, because she really wants to go, but it's also like a lot of walking. So I'm thinking it's June 6th, but I'm not for sure. We have it on the calendar, I just can't remember the exact date. But things have been crazy around here, because like I said, I got my feeding tube thing. My mom hurt her foot. Also, like 2 or 3 days after I get my buttons placed, we have a memorial service to go to, for someone that used to go to our church. And this person's, son and their family used to go to our church a long time ago before they moved. So they're wanting to have the memorial service, at our church. So we have that like a couple of days after, my procedure. So we just kind of have a lot going on. But yeah, it has been a crazy summer. I'm not going to youth camp this year. Our church camp is what I call it on here. It would just be too hard. It's really hot. I'd have to bring my machine and everything, and they have activities like all day long. And then at church not at church. They have like activities and classes in the morning, and then at nighttime they have church, and it's a 5-day 4-night thing, and it would just be too much on my body to go. So I'm not going to church camp this year, but later in July, I do plan on going to my friend's house for her birthday, because that's like her big gift. We did actually meet at church camp, and we've been like best friends since. We actually consider each other family. But she lives out of town from where I live, the same state I live in, but just a different town. And so it's like, I think a little over an hour drive for us. So for her birthday, I get to go see her, and I'm really excited because I only get to go see her once a year. So I'm really excited to go see my friend next month, and I think it will be good for me to kind of do something different for the summer. And then as far as the month of June, later in June, our library will open up for the summer reading program. And, well, they're already open, but like for the summer stuff. And we usually don't do a whole lot of that, because our library usually don't give the best prizes. But I do want to go to the library and get like a few books, and because a lot of the library activities isn't really that great, I do have a few ideas of what I want to do with my little brother before he goes back to school. Like, we have like make tie-dye shirts, paint, things like that. Things that I would be able to do that's like fun, but also not overdoing it. So, anyways, I got a crazy busy summer, but I'm really thankful that I do get to spend it with my family. And anyways, thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.